Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece on independent research, exploring the history and future of this often overlooked approach to scientific inquiry. It's a really exciting topic.
Absolutely. I'm particularly intrigued by the historical examples. The gentleman scientist. The idea of researchers funding their own work seems almost anachronistic now, doesn't it? But the article shows it was quite common, right?
Exactly. We see figures like Charles Darwin, whose family funded his voyage on the Beagle, and James Prescott Joule, conducting research in his family brewery. It paints a very different picture of scientific pursuit than the grant-dependent model we see today. Even Alfred Lee Loomis, with his Palace of Science, shows how wealthy individuals could significantly impact research.
And it wasn't just about money, was it? The article highlights the intellectual freedom these independent researchers enjoyed. They weren't constrained by institutional pressures or the need to secure funding for specific projects.
Precisely. The example of Norman Borlaug, the agronomist who revolutionized wheat production, is striking. His lack of formal training led him to develop unconventional methods, ultimately proving more effective than established practices. It really challenges the notion that formal training is always necessary for groundbreaking research.
That's a powerful point. But the article also acknowledges the challenges, Spock. The need for validation, the difficulty in getting your work recognized without institutional backing. It's a real hurdle.
Yeah, you're right. The article mentions a 1998 Science article highlighting the anonymity many independent researchers sought. It's almost embarrassing, to admit you're funding your own work instead of having a prestigious grant. It speaks volumes about the societal perception of research.
It's a bit of a catch-22, isn't it? You need validation to be taken seriously, but getting that validation is harder without the institutional affiliations. It's a system that seems to actively discourage independent work.
I see. Interesting. But the article also offers a glimmer of hope. It emphasizes that independent research doesn't always require vast sums of money. Stephen Vogel, for example, said he could do amazing work with just $1,000 a year. It's about finding creative ways to fund your research and about focusing on questions that can be answered with limited resources.
And the author's own experience with the Ford Foundation grant shows that funding opportunities can be found outside the traditional channels. It's about being proactive, resourceful, and persistent. It's inspiring, actually.
Absolutely. The article concludes with a powerful message: independent research as a public service. Documenting your findings, sharing your knowledge, contributing to the collective understanding, that's a valuable contribution in itself. It shifts the focus from the need for external validation to the intrinsic value of the work.
It's a call to action, really. To embrace the intellectual freedom and risk that independent research offers. To pursue the questions that truly fascinate you, regardless of the perceived obstacles. And to remember that even small contributions can have a huge impact.
Exactly. And with the rise of platforms like Patreon, new avenues for funding independent research are emerging. It's a really exciting time for those who dare to pursue knowledge on their own terms. Thanks for joining us on Tech Bytes and News. We hope you enjoyed this discussion on the fascinating world of independent research. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.